agents. Your briefing is coming to you directly from the organization, your target, Campaign Comrades. They're putting out propaganda on the timeline. You must take them out, make it public, make it brutal. We are here talking about the Hitman movie, folks. We are shaving our heads bald. We're getting barcode tattoos. Except in today's day and age, they'd be QR codes.
QR codes, yeah.
And it would guaranteed come with some form of malware attached to it.
It would tell you to
and
download
it has an
some
arbitration clause.
It was like tell you to
Mandatory
download some
arbitration
sort
clause.
of like, you know, crypto, like some sort of like, you know, weird crypto coin. That's how you're going to get your contracts fulfilled.
Actually, no, your camera barely reads it correctly, and it's a drink menu for a random restaurant.
Yeah. In like Austin, Texas.
As someone who worked on fucking QR codes for a company at one point in time, I never ever want to do that shit ever again. Getting fucking printer PPI correct to get the fucking things to read with a shit camera because you have to make it readable by the worst camera possible.
I should specify that we're doing the original 2007 Hitman
No, we're doing
movie.
Hitman Agent 47. That's the one that I watched.
Did you watch
it?
No.
You said
I was
you thought,
going to, and then I played Final Fantasy instead.
Yeah, that's the smart decision. I've like seen parts of Agent 47 similarly on TV. Like when we were planning this episode out, we're like, you know, as usual, I pull up the list of video game adaptations, and I'm always surprised that the list is not that long. I think there's like around 50 movies, and some of them, in my opinion, are stretches.
There was a good point in time where a video game movie was like a death sentence.
No, it still is. Let's be honest. Like, you know, we do live in a post Mario movie world where a video game movie can make $1 billion, but like that's like, you know, the exception kind of thing.
Yeah, just wait for the
not a
sequel
good
in
movie.
2026.
And yeah, wait till we get the Smash Brothers connected universe. But like when we were looking at this list, I'm like scrolling through things and like, you know, let's do Hitman. You know, it is part of like what is on the podcast here, like our favorite genre of film, which is FX movie.
I feel like we need to make a jingle that's like Campaign Comrades. We got the movies. FX. We got the movies. Because that's all I think.
The definition of an FX movie, for anyone wanting to know, is a movie where the plot can be summed up so quickly that you can be in and out and not necessarily needing to like get like huge plot points. Like you can describe the plot of this movie in one sentence.
Yeah. You can drop in at any time. Like,
yeah.
And it's short enough that with commercials, it's not going to be like
it's an hour and a half runtime. So it's going to be a 2 hour with
2 hour block.
Boom.
Yeah.
Perfect size.
That's solid. But like, it's the perfect mix of, you know, violence, sex, and some kind of comedy.
Oh, the
elements
sex scene
at time.
Definitely on FX doesn't even get played. They have a cut where they just go right past that.
I mean, it's all implied at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no sex scene.
The almost sex scene. Yeah.
Okay.
Scene, yeah.
Whatever.
But I like that you say an element
all of that
comedy.
Still wouldn't be allowed on TV on FX.
I don't know. It's on Hulu now.
No, she's got her titties out.
Yeah. But I like that you say an element of comedy, because that's a perfect way to describe it. Because it's not necessarily that the movie is trying to be a comedy in any way. It's just that they, you know, there's some element of the movie in how it was made, whether it's the delivery of the characters' lines, just the bad plot that just makes it.
No, it's because the main character's the actor is Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah.
Well, anyone whose last name is Middle Earth for elephant.
Speaking of the almost sex scene, though, like we're jumping right into it. I'm asking the important questions. Is Agent 47 a virgin? Has he had sex before? Has he nutted?
No, he's a virgin. He's a virgin. He doesn't like talking to women. It's made clear from like the second scene.
He's essentially asexual, but he gets
He gets a little turnt for our femme fatale here.
But it took him a little too long. And if it were me and I saw a girl like that with a tattoo on her face that may be able to kill me if she wanted to, I guess, or like has some violence associated with her, would have fallen way quicker.
For future evidence purposes, if Mike ever ends up tied to a bed and robbed, this is the evidence you can use to start looking for.
Yeah, no, you can't hold you can't hold it against the perpetrator at that point. It was consensual. It was consensual robbery at that point.
I would argue though that the display of emotion from Agent 47 is there is a little bit of a sexual energy to it, but it's closer to a guardian figure, I think. Like it's more his appreciation. You could consider it
more maybe instead of asexual, aromantic.
Seeing himself within her, in that they're both victims of human trafficking.
Within her, and then without her, and then within her, and then without her.
Within him, in the name of the Holy
I think it's
Spirit.
more about his it's not a sexual connection still, even at that point. No. Like it's more him respecting her as a fellow.
I mean, he had the same base take as Austin Powers. No, baby, you're drunk. It's not right.
He does.
So he roofies her.
Incapacitates her.
Yes. Then he just straight up just injection right into the tissue in the neck. Just boom.
That knocks her out instantly.
It's got that high grade we're hitting all.
Ready for a horse.
It's probably tuned for like a 6'5" like Russian henchman.
Like dosage. Gave it to a 5'2", 90-pound femme fatale.
So one thing that they make a change with when they eventually reboot it with Agent 47, that iteration of the character definitely is emotionless in a way that Timothy Oliphant's rendition of it is not. He definitely has more.
He's breaking out of his training.
Yeah, he definitely strains against the conditioning that, like, in my opinion, makes it better and more enjoyable to watch. Whereas, it might be
character development.
Yeah, it might be truer to the character in terms of the games that we get, where Agent 47 really is just a cipher for, the player. It is just a blank slate that you can insert yourself into that, like, is good for gameplay and something where you're trying to immerse yourself for extended periods of time, but like to relate to somebody on screen for the short period of time, you need a little bit more of that.
I just got to be
humanizing
honest,
factor.
And from a world intelligence perspective, from all of them, blaming all of them for this. How does a dude with no hair and a fucking barcode tattooed on his head, walking around in a suit, always looking like a fucking assassin, never get noticed, stopped, watched once?
Yeah, I
personally and his skinheads. And he's a hot guy. Like it's not like he's he's not generic. There's nothing that about him that would allow him to blend in.
He's a ghost. It's like, no, he's absolutely not a ghost. He doesn't blend in at all. He stands out like a sore thumb.
He literally is a thumb.
He looks like a thumb.
Yeah.
I've always
he's a thumb from Spy Kids.
I've always felt that way about the barcode tattoo. It's like, the way to be inconspicuous, buddy.
Yeah.
Literally having your identification number tattooed on the back of your head.
I don't know. Will say, if he was in Williamsburg, he might find some, barcode tattoos amongst himself.
You see, what he should have done instead of a tattoo is they should meticulously shave the hair to the barcode
and make it like always that length. The perfect length.
Maintain
or just rat tails. No. It just is rat tails. Individual little rat tails.
Ben, you bring up something that I think when you're talking to the emotionless version of Agent 47, I did, because I don't think any of us played any of the original ones.
I've never played Hitman.
I've played a bit of Hitman 3. the most recent one.
Yeah, so same for me. And so I did a little background just reading the plots of the first two, because the third one kind of came out at the same time
just like this movie
as
has
this
a plot.
movie. But like it does the second one in particular does have Agent 47 like trying to retire, and like he goes to some like Italian farm essentially, and gets tied up with some mafia shindigs in the second one. So there is, at least with the original character, some more straying from the organization, whereas Hitman 3 I think is closer to that 47 Agent 47 version of just
I feel like
completely plain.
there is no story in those, that
I love
they purely are just mission based sandboxes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the homage to that with the little laptop and the shitty 3D spinning graphic that was vintage early 2000s. This is high tech spy like network.
I want to talk about how this is so obviously a like a Bush era film. This is so pre O'Bungler. This is
Mm-hmm.
it comes out in 2007, but is so filmed in
But comes out in
2006. So it's before the O'Bungler has come onto the scene, and like that. This is like, for as it's something interesting to be said that during reactionary points in our kind of social reality and particularly our politics, we get, in my opinion, some better movies in a lot of that sense. It's at least in it from an entertaining point of view. It's funny to point and laugh at the reactionary movies, as they like this is interestingly enough a movie that could have come out when it did, or 2016, in that it's like it's serious anti-Russia
I mean, the entire
perspective.
plot can be summed up as the
Propaganda.
following. Assassin gets set up killing Russian president double.
But like, this is, again, when you get into the O'Bungler era, that you lose, like, Hollywood becomes completely sexless, right? You wouldn't have had any of that.
No swag, no riz.
Yeah, no swag. The driest films of all time.
Hey man,
where
the most recent pollings show that the younger audiences no longer want sex in their movies. They want them to be sexless.
There's
That's
no there's no hope for this generation.
It was something crazy too. Like 67% of respondents said they wanted less sex or no sex in movies.
I just don't believe that. I think that's like a selection bias. Like the people who care to answer that question are the people who are freaks and think that way. Everyone else is just like, this is fucking stupid.
I mean, the other side of that is the other half of that coin is you get the people in fursuits during the movie responding as well, who are like, where are the we need more representation of.
I need
but they want furries.
I want full on penetration whilst in a fursuit. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm actually excited for PAX when we might see. We're definitely going to see at least one or two fursuits at PAX.
Dude, I saw him in the city the other day.
I've been to PAX before, and it's like it's not like Comic-Con levels of
oh no, not cosplayers, but there will be.
But there definitely will be, because I know that there are cosplay events. We've looked at the schedule, so there are events, so there will be some.
Yeah, I've been putting together my my Sailor Girl transformation.
Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was looking into the production of this movie, and
definitely got some good shots. There were some good movie cinematic shots. There's also some really bad quick cuts.
Lots of quick cuts. Yeah. I was noticing, and this is part of one of the bits of reshoots that was done was in the train depot.
That is my least favorite fight sequence. That train, the sword fight sucks.
Yeah, and so that was one of the reshoots because they originally it was just like a one-on-one fight with some guy, and so for me it was just about how it was shot because it was just like cut. It was pretty sloppy. Had some
We're
of the
a
more
little spoiled
sloppy
now because we've
doubles.
had so many good single cut fight scenes that can do that better.
Yeah,
like the John Wick in Common.
But even the swords just seem like so props.
Fake. Yeah,
they seem like props in that
those
scene.
are plastic. Those are plastic.
Yes,
and you could see where they put in the edit.
What did he say right before they pulled him out? It's like die with honor or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. As they're in a Mexican standoff, and then they all like how about we die with a little dignity or something? And
yeah, I think that's it.
And they all like look around and nod to each other. That is a cool sequence. As they all look around, they nod. They all drop their
that's an acknowledgement of we can all die
time.
this way, or we can all at least have a chance.
Die like men. and then they just kill each other to death.
I like the special effects of when the shitty plastic swords hit each other, and then they put in the little like metal hitting metal, like sparks. Yeah.
Yeah. So this.
Did you see why they did reshoots though? It was disappointing. They did reshoots because they felt the original was too like gory and extreme.
Weird.
They could have put it on FX. They knew. They knew they would have.
They were definitely pushing that early 2000s R rating just by having the boobs exposed for as long as they were. They definitely had a stopwatch while they were doing the edits there, and they're like, okay, that's our limit.
Well, and I think that they follow. Was it rated R?
Yes, it is a rated R movie.
Okay. I was gonna say because like I'm pretty sure they only say
there's
fuck
no way
once,
a PG-13
which is you're allowed to do in PG. Yeah, you're right. I see somewhere that the actress who played her, where is it?
Who's a Bond girl? Bond girl in the Quantum of Solace.
Yeah, she refused to have a body double based.
Nice.
Love. But yeah, so I was like looking into the production of this, and it was a remarkably kind of drama free for the most part. Like for one thing, like the turnaround was really fast, which to me is indication of it being of a certain era of filmmaking, right? Like that we're not getting like very much like video games, right? We're not getting this blown up 10-year development cycle where things are being constantly rewritten, rescripted,
reshot, rewritten.
Like they had very minor bits of that. It was they entered negotiations in 2003. So from initial talks to eventual release, 4 years. That's not that bad.
And I don't know if you saw this, but originally they had envisioned Vin Diesel.
I did. No, he was originally attached.
That's incredible.
And that was the part that again, it's like clear that why
it's
this
triple
is like
X.
This falls into the FX movie genre because
which could basically just be described as Vin Diesel's discography.
Yeah, because like it was like, oh yeah, dude, this is just like a slightly more violent triple X, without like the extreme sports.
All of the FX movies are connected. It's an FX cinematic universe.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some where it's like Forgetting Sarah Marshall was also an FX movie.
Yeah, all the same universe, man.
So Vin Diesel eventually stepped down from the role, and
we got Timothy Middle Earth Elephant
was cast instead. Who, I'm a big fan of Timothy Olyphant. I'm a Justified fan. I really love Deadwood. He has this this one little detail is he has this extremely unique walk that is like you can you could tell when it's not him and not a stunt double or whatever. It's just the way he walks is very unique, And to me, it's like it's very reminiscent of it's like he's playing like a like a Midwestern lawman, like that he's walking in such a way, and he's always got his hand on his service weapon,
or like he's got the like cowboy boots on and the fucking stirrup things.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, what's Raylan doing with Raylan's gone full skinhead.
Yeah. No, I had noticed that too, that it's like a very odd gate in
there's
Russia,
something about that where it's like it was some sort of like military intelligence training or something where you're trained to keep your arms in a certain like reaching distance of your weapon at all times. So that you're never outside of like a grabbing.
No, they were too busy
on their phone.
So they were too busy being trained by the fucking IDF to do Krav Maga against the insurgents in Brooklyn.
Yeah, and learning how to kettle protesters.
Yeah.
See, I get all of my training from the guy from Detroit.
Yes. The only like kind of there are two actual, besides the Vin Diesel, there are two interesting kind of quirky little trivia details about this movie that I wanted to share with you guys. That to try to like save money in that opening sequence where you're seeing like the backstory of the flashbacks of Agent 47's upbringing as a kid being indoctrinated by the organization, like at least half of that are clips taken from the James Cameron TV series Dark Angel, which was also owned by Fox and must have had similar themes and stuff, because you can tell that the scenes when the kids have hair, that's one indication. That's usually buzzed, but they have hair. That's one indication. And whenever you see the barcode on the neck and not the back of the head, that's from Dark Angel. And so and again, James Cameron, God Emperor, bringing us that was Jessica Alba's breakout role, was in that show. Where she plays like this like genetically engineered super soldier. So it's again very similar kind of themes and tone, but I was just like, that's wild to me. Like, yeah, so they're like, yeah, let's save some money, because Fox, who is distributing this movie, also owned the rights to this TV show, so they just cut in some scenes from this fucking TV show.
Dude, if you've got a footage vault, use it.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. I guess.
I mean, everyone always praises Disney for their reuse of animation when they were doing their animated movies. That's all I'm saying.
And the other one, so this movie, might be one of the worst rated films we've done for the show. Sits at a 16 on Rotten Tomatoes and a 35 on Metacritic.
Unfair.
Yeah.
No,
unfair. It shouldn't be very high, but it shouldn't be that.
No, the rhetoric around this movie.
This is firmly a 60.
Oh, again,
I would go higher.
Another indication of why, again, this is like of a certain era of movie, and like why this was like a Bush era thing, has to be with that the response to the film. People were like, in today's standards, this does not hold water. They're like, it's too violent, it's too gory, it's excessive in its violence.
Because this is another iteration of violence in video games.
That's just an evangelical, reaction to this.
No, but their reaction to John Wick.
The fact that this movie made over $100 million on a $20 million budget, and they still decided not to make a sequel because of the response, which is crazy. That would never happen today. If a film made that much more over budget like this, that's immediately
they would triple down. Critics. They would release a sequel that is triple as bad in the things that people were angry about. They'd be like, "Oh, you want gore? Oh, we'll give you gore. We actually disemboweled the actor on set."
Yeah, you'd get the the version of this movie that's like the fucking Boondock Saints 2, the Pacific Rim 2, the
absolute
10 times. I mean, again, I would never put bad and Pacific Rim in any.
But Pacific Rim 2 doesn't exist, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's just like taking the movie and just absolutely beating it into the ground. But the one
Transformers.
So the only
I argue that Transformers 2 is still funny.
The only one of the only positive receptions to the film was from the absolute lad,
yes,
Slovenian philosopher and communist theorist Slavoj Žižek, who put this on his personal list of greatest films of 2012. Or the greatest films. No, it was in a 2012 poll. It was just his 10 greatest films. And it's just like, dude, what a king. I tried looking up and I couldn't really find anything specific. Like I haven't seen him give like a full analysis of it, but he was just basically like, this list includes just like guilty pleasure stuff that I just enjoy liking, and it ranges the gamut of all these, genre foibles he enjoys. And, he probably has some more in-depth thesis on it, but I just thought that was so funny.
Yeah. I read that too and was like, hell yeah, based. We love him.
We do.
I also I am I think way more positive on this movie than at least two of you are, because I think this movie is pretty like excellent for what it is. It's shocking to me how bad the reception is with this movie. Like
when I say it's a 60, I mean that's like what I think its Rotten Tomatoes aggregate should be.
No. Fair enough. But like just the fact that so many things said it was incoherent, which I just don't think it is.
It's impossible to be incoherent with this loose of a plot.
Right. The one bit that's like, maybe there are a few leaps where it's like, okay, what the fuck's going on? Like the one that sticks out in my head right now is like the whole bit with the train station, everything's been locked down. They can't even go, on the trains that are going into Russia. And then somehow they get to fucking Istanbul. They just glance over that. They just completely glance over that. Like, okay, they got out of the country, they're in Istanbul. They bypassed all of it. But like all the borders are still supposed to be shut down. It was they make it such a big part of the plot about how everything's been shut down. There's only one way for him to go, and then they're in the crossroads of East and West.
They knew about the tunnels in Brooklyn before any of us did. They hired some guys that were integral in digging those tunnels, created a tunnel from Russia to Istanbul. There you go.
The only
movie magic.
The only other one that like I could maybe see is like, okay, yeah, could have used a little bit more, and it's pretty central to the plot, is the bit with the Russian president and the body double, about like what the double's motivation is, like, and it's just basically he just
why
wants
the
to
body
be president.
doubles. And why is he in charge? Like, is he the other lead? Is he the opposition leader? Did the opposition leader like get his face redone? Like that is the one thing that I do agree with is glaring, is like, why is he in charge and who is he? And they kill him before he can answer it.
No, I think he was just a random dude.
Truly just a body double.
As a body double.
He just wanted to take the position.
I want to be
I was
also like confused, like who's the evil one, right? Like, the guy's like, that's another bit of, again, this is like the anti-Russia propaganda stuff, that like, oh, this guy is like a moderate reformer, yet he still does human trafficking and white slavery and shit like that,
I would just like to say that this movie is foreshadowing what we're experiencing right now with Russia, in that we don't know if Putin is a body double, if he has many clones, so it was.
Well, we do know he has body doubles. That's like not a question. Putin definitely has doubles. It's whether Putin is a double or not at this point that we don't know.
Yeah, fair.
We're gonna be in our like late 70s, and he's gonna still look exactly the same. Like, wait,
like that guy was supposedly dying of cancer when I was 30.
Is he Rasputin?
Rasputin.
I do want to shout out one of my favorite character actors in this movie, Robert Knepper, who plays the head of the FSB, or the FSB guy.
The lead FSB. Yeah, he's
Teabag from Prison Break.
That's right. Okay, that's was like who. It's like, what role am I thinking of from him? And is he like? Does he have put on like a Creole accent as in Prison Break? Is that what it is?
Hell yeah, he does.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like, yes.
He does a decent job.
I know him
maintaining
from a bunch
his
of stuff.
accent in this movie, but he definitely has. He has some points where he's definitely slipping.
I love it when he calls it the FSB. The
FSB. FSB.
This is kind of random, but one of these little kind of bits that had me hooting and hollering. It happened maybe 3 times. I guess it was probably in Istanbul as well. But they would do things like it happened at the very beginning and then at the end, where it would be like when they would show a new location or something, just to get to show how dumb the audiences were back then. You know, they have to do this. But it was literally like it was London, ... England. It would just be like it would just St. Petersburg. Pause.
See,
Russia.
I've always
like,
wanted
really?
a movie.
I thought it was London, Peru. You know, like
I've always wanted a movie to go against that trait and to have all the locations be places that also exist elsewhere, and just say the first one. So just be like Athens, like Athens, Greece, Athens, Georgia.
Yeah, so it was just like, oh yeah, from context clues, I could not have put together that that St. Petersburg is in Russia. Thank you.
Or
that was
scene
a classic
of it panning
series.
over Big Ben. Couldn't tell that it was London, England.
Yeah, it was just, but it was how the text would come up on screen. It was just London, pause, England.
But that is kind of like a spy-ish movie formulation of like that, because they do like the ... and it makes the beeps like it's like like an
they're putting it in the computer,
typing it in. They should have put coordinates in too. Might as well have put longitude, latitude.
Yes, absolutely. Because
that would be,
but that's bad OPSEC. That's bad OPSEC. You're giving away your location.
You're
all I'm saying is I enjoyed when movies would do that, and then you would go fact check their longitude, latitude, and it would be completely not the right place.
They're just putting random numbers up in there.
Yeah.
Well, one thing about
it's fucking Pittsburgh.
This being
it's always fucking Pittsburgh.
This being able to be made when it was, and then like in 2016, the only difference would be the amount of fucking like cell phone and like tracking bullshit that they'd be trying to like push on you, which is true. The government is watching you at all times, and so are all of our corporate overlords.
Not true. I wear a Faraday cage while I go out in public, so I'm untrackable.
Your house is under a dome.
I do like
lead dome.
I'm definitely gonna be the psycho in like 40 years who builds a Faraday cage into his bunker.
The other thing that I think does also speak to the Bush era is still a positive view of the security state, and that the CIA is the ultimate good guys. They save the day at the end.
Dude, the
courtesy of the U.S. government
was such a like Curb Your Enthusiasm music starting.
The one bit that like I don't necessarily think it's something that they needed to develop, but like there's the scene where you first meet the CIA guy where he uses what's her name? What's the woman's name? The character's name? Why am I not seeing it here? Nika, yeah. So he's like using her as like the go-between, and it's basically, so it's like Agent 47 has some dirt or something on this guy, or has something that the other guy wants. So it's like he's got him kind of by the balls, and hence when he does ultimately foil the Interpol agents from arresting Agent 47, he texts him, "We're even." And so like it's just like it's left ambiguous what it is exactly their relationship was, what it was that
former lovers.
I mean,
Agent 47 had over this guy.
I just took it as the CIA's employed him and he's kept those records, and
Right.
that's really all there
That
was
was
to
why
it.
I thought that's why I thought the Curb music would come on, because remember earlier in the movie the FSB guy was like, "Oh no, it's CIA," and he's like, "Oh, why would it be the CIA? It's clearly our ghost." And he's like, "Oh, you're naive." I thought that was a nice little
There is also
payoff.
the bits where they say, like, the organization has ties to every world government.
Mm.
So that would obviously include the United States and the CIA. So yeah, you're right about that. But it's just, yeah, where it's like they have to be so heavy-handed in things like giving you the exact location of these things. They then leave that to be like, you gotta kind of put it together. It's a little bit inconsistent in that regard, but
Yeah.
it's fine. It's totally fine. But yeah, I found this to be a pleasant romp, and not
No, I
again.
very much enjoyed this.
I do not understand there's like maybe one kill that's like kind of intense where he like smashes a dude's head into like a marble
Yeah.
floor and then curb stomps him. That's like the most
Yeah, he
gruesome
fucks
kill,
that guy up.
and
To
it's
be
on
completely
screen
honest,
for like 2 seconds.
be completely honest, at this point in time, I've been so desensitized to brutal kills in movies
Right,
that
right,
doesn't
right,
even
right.
register.
Yeah, it's probably just like in retrospect, this looks pretty tame. But yeah, I do not understand the backlash, other than, again, thinking about the time it was that this came out and who would be the people that would be reacting to it like that. And it was like
Christopher
when,
Dodd.
no, it's when evangelicals were at the height of their kind of political and cultural power. So makes
But
sense. Makes sense that they'd have problems with this, as well as also, again, they are deeply tied into the security state. So the implications that that we're involved with shady extra governmental organizations doing murders on our behalf of world leaders,
you
would
say
piss them off.
Blackwater?
Yeah, say would hit a little close to home for them. So like I think that they yeah, that they would realize, yeah, we should maybe not
So
be supporting this creative endeavor.
So I think, I think those criticisms are absurd. The one criticism that would never have been levied at that point in time that I think I have watching this movie is the character of Nika, because she is just really not done much justice. She's mostly there to show her tits.
Yep.
She says she's not a whore by choice, like telling us that she's been trafficked. And then in the next scene, for no reason, she is topless. Like there is literally no reason for her to be topless, but she is.
It's all she knows.
I mean, there is a reason, but it's not
it's all
movie
she knows.
related.
I mean, I'm a little more charitable in that regard, in that, like, yes, it's somebody who's been trafficked, who the only way they have of exhibiting any sense of agency to try to claw back some sense of power, as minuscule as it is through sexuality, and through the use of their body. So
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
I buy that. I was a little bit more charitable in that read, but yeah, definitely was like, yeah, she's there for eye candy. She's there for those topless scenes. She is
I mean,
not
it's not just
served.
topless. She's legitimately just wearing underwear in a full, like, single cut walk to the back.
Oh, in that one
portion.
scene, yeah. But then there are other scenes where, yeah, she just takes her top off.
It's like the fun fact. I don't remember the name of the movie. There's a Tarantino movie with Salma Hayek.
Is it
From Dusk Till
From
Dawn?
Dusk Till Dawn? Yeah,
Yeah.
with the
tequila scene.
Yeah. Hell
Yes.
yeah.
It's like weird of him to put himself in that role.
Dude, Quentin loves that. That's why he's the king.
That movie is pretty formative for me. I'm not gonna lie. Salma Hayek. Wow.
I love the dick gun.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. So good. So, like,
Andrew had
creative.
a dick gun watching that movie. That's why it's so formative. Might have been one of his first dick guns.
Love that shit. This is just like pure FX movie brilliance here. Yeah,
And
that when put on FX would have been heavily edited, that's for sure.
oh yeah. The other thing that
I
this
mean, who
movie
can forget the lovely FX cut of Balls of Fury, which cuts out all of the offensive parts, which is like 40% of the movie.
Yeah, most of it.
I think it's a completely
that
different movie if you watch the FX
for-
version.
for for a video game adaptation of this time, it does a really good job, I think, of giving you the tie-ins through his fairly creative kills that do replicate what you can do in the game. But it's not like in your face, like shown, like shouted at you. And I thought that's really well done.
I was gonna bring that up, that like the tie-ins are subtle enough that like would please fans of the games. Like the real diehards would know that, like, you know, his guns are like the exact, like, you know, replicas. I read somewhere that except for like the rifle that he uses in the very end scene, his two rifles are like the two main ones that he uses throughout the games. His pistols, all that. But then you've got
another homage, just as you were mentioning that, as I was thinking about it, to the early 2000s, is the scene when he's meeting the arms dealer, the brother. And he's just like, all of these are like cheap Chinese knockoffs. Like that was definitely an intentional language of the time.
No, it still is. You know, it still is. Yeah, like that China's doing IP infringement. They're doing patent fraud.
They're infiltrating us.
But one of the other ones is like, you know, you see him, he uses Agent 47 uses a disguise, which is a huge part of the gameplay.
Yep. Multiple disguises.
Puts on a wig. That's all he's got to do.
One of my
all he's got to do is put on a pair of glasses, and all of a sudden he's a nerd.
He's invisible.
He puts on a fucking like Groucho Marx or whatever the guy's name is.
The Groucho Marx, the glasses and the nose.
Yeah. Can't see me.
The when he takes out the real arms dealer is, I think, one of the like best homages to the game. He poisons him, makes him go to the bathroom, and then discreetly knocks him off with his bodyguards. Like that is such a great scene.
That was such a fun scene.
He's looking at the reflection in the spoon.
Yep.
And she's all mad that she's at her fancy dinner and doesn't get to
get to finish.
Steals a bottle of wine off the table with real class.
Girls upset they never get to finish.
True.
I mean, Timothy Oliphant gets to decide when she finishes, apparently.
I also totally missed the part where she said somewhere that she wanted her dream was to own a vineyard. Weird dream, because that's like the end thing. It's
her father's dream.
Okay,
it was like her father and hers thing.
Yeah, that's the end bit where he's her guardian angel looking over her with a sniper rifle trained on the back of her head. She goes to the post office and opens up a deed to some vineyard.
She's not happy about this gift.
We missed the best line in the movie, which is in the very, very beginning, where he's talking they're in Nigeria, I think. And the Nigerian guy he says that Nigeria is the anus of the world.
I missed that.
Yeah, which one says that? Who says that?
The guy sitting down.
Is it the Interpol guy says that to him, or
no? The Nigerian guy says it.
The general.
Yeah, the general.
Interpol.
Yeah.
Which is very funny again that they choose Interpol as like the main antagonist because like Interpol does not do that shit.
Nerds. They're
No.
nerds.
Interpol
they literally are nerds. They literally are nerds. Like they're a
Yeah.
liaison office who does like translations and shit like that.
Yeah,
They are not
nerds.
they do not have jurisdiction. They love throwing that around. Interpol has jurisdiction here. It's like no,
That was one
Interpol
of my
has
favorite.
jurisdiction nowhere. They do not,
Yeah.
you know, they do not conduct investigations. That's not their thing.
And the lead Interpol guy is a Welsh actor, and him trying to do the British accent is pretty funny at certain times. He just drops it just a little bit, or he's Scottish actually.
Yeah, I felt like it was constantly just his normal accent.
How many sheep do you think they kept on set for him?
Yeah, no, I don't think he is Welsh, is he?
No, he's Scottish. I misspoke.
Yeah,
He's Scottish.
so-
Never
yeah.
mind. No.
Yeah.
Well, the Scots still love some sheep, but it's
No,
different.
they're not sheep fuckers in the way that the Welsh are.
Yeah.
Hence it's different.
Scottish are decent. We'll take them. Better than the Brits. So
Absolutely. I'm sure that there were other little ones as well, like Agent 47's handler, Diana. I'm sure she must be a figure from the games that I don't recognize. Because the fact that like for as small a role as it was, like where you're just getting the computerized voice and then she calls him up once to tell him that he's been set up. Your location is compromised. The fact that they name her at all must signify that she is has some role from the games.
tell us in the comments, listeners. Give us some engagement.
Yeah, real Hitman heads out there.
Yeah.
What are
out there in Malaysia?
What are your thoughts on the how faithful of an adaptation was this?
I did think it was funny that they chose to change the name to just the organization as opposed to it's in the games it's like the ICJ something like that.
It's
the ICA, the ICA.
It's something also very
International
generic.
Contract Agency.
Yeah, it's something very generic.
Which is just incredible that they use the same letters as the CIA and just scrambled them a bit.
Yeah, intentional.
Yeah.
That's totally intentional.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
this is done by the Hitman games are done by IO Interactive, which is a Danish studio, I believe. Yeah, they're in Denmark, Copenhagen. I don't really feel like that they've got a particularly fraught history with the CIA. But yeah, this
that we know of.
Yeah, that we know of. That shit hasn't been declassified yet. Because every 5 years or so,
You know how
is
it Denmark that has the tallest people on Earth?
It might.
Probably
It's one of those. It's one of those
I think it's
countries.
Denmark.
Tall
And if it's
whites.
true, it's because the CIA was doing genetic modification on the Denmark citizens to create super soldiers. You heard it here first.
I mean, that's
Starting
perfect
our
fodder.
Alex Jones arc.
There's good Christian boys out there. We could turn them Mormon, turn them to evangelicals, just American super soldiers.
You don't want to be messing around with converting too many people to Mormonism. That's its own.
The CIA and the FBI love the Mormons.
Aren't they like predominantly staffed by Mormons nowadays?
Yes, correct. Because you know what Mormons do? They follow orders. They don't ask questions.
They marry multiple wives.
Yeah, they do what they're told.
Yep, they respect hierarchical power structures because
Yes,
they all
correct.
if they're subservient in this life, they'll become gods of their own planets in the next life.
Yeah, who wouldn't want that?
The true American right there.
Yeah,
it's actually partially
sure.
why the Mormon Church fundraises so well, because it's they force donations pretty heavily.
Catholics just get to go to heaven.
No, you get to become lord of your new star empire.
Yeah, just fuck all the bitches like Zeus.
So, like, where do I sign up for this?
So if you want to become a Mormon, all you have to do is find your closest Church of Latter-day Saints.
Yeah. And they'll
issue you your own pair of sacred underwear.
Yeah.
Yep, you'll have to talk with some missionaries. They're probably going to want to inspect your house. They're weird like that.
Yeah, they will issue you a pair of khakis and a black polo.
I remember
so that you could go on missions.
I remember when I stopped going and they sent missionaries to our house every weekend.
Yeah, they are relentless.
That's fucking
They will do
harassment.
chores for you though.
I just remember they came one time and like my dad was drinking a Diet Coke and they were like sinner, like malcontent or whatever, blah blah blah. And he was like, "Get the fuck off my property."
Caffeine.
They've relaxed on their caffeine issues, just like
Oh.
they relaxed on not letting black people into their church.
At first, I was gonna say
they haven't really relaxed on that.
Yeah,
though.
No, like they say they have at least.
Them being anti-caffeine is actually based. I'm like probably the single anti-caffeine head in the chat right now. Caffeine's a poison.
Get addicted.
It's my favorite drug.
No, it's a poison. It's
the number one addiction in the world. I just made that statistic up, but you believed it because it sounds true.
Probably is.
I mean, it probably is true.
Yeah, probably is.
Between all the coffee and tea drinkers across globally,
and now the energy drinking Americans,
and now the what was it, the Starbucks lemonade drinkers,
Panera.
Yeah, Panera. They just died.
Yeah, it was
Panera.
They just died.
I'm pretty
they
sure
just died.
Pretty sure Dunkin' has their own energy juice now as well,
but doesn't have free refills like the Panera one does, which is so it's literally just kill yourself.
Just 1,000 milligrams of caffeine.
Have a caffeine overdose.
TikTok
for lunch.
Panera lemonade challenge.
We've gone.
Now you're really gonna get it, Ben.
We've gone way off script here, but it's easier. These episodes are easier when we don't like the films, right? There's more. I feel like there's more to talk about when we don't.
I mean, it's also the fact that this movie is so short that like we are rapidly approaching the runtime of the movie.
Yeah, and I get tired of. I don't like actually just doing the full plot of the going over and dissecting the full plot.
There is no like full plot to discuss. We already said it. He gets set up. The CIA covers for him because they probably ordered him to do it in the first place.
Yeah, it's really that's the whole thing is really a regime change plot. That's why we don't know who's in control. It's just the CIA.
There's ample amount, probably about 2 minutes of boobs shown.
Yeah, here's a funny bit. When the Interpol guys are spying on the FSB head who's in conversations with the body double, they keep referring to each other as comrade, which is very funny. Trying to sneak in some anti-communism in here when at this stage Russia is very much not communist, not even close. And
this is a communist overthrow. This is what's happening.
It's a communist plot, but just the showing that the pure lack of, what's the word I'm thinking of,
nuance,
the lack of intellectual curiosity that pervades Hollywood, right? There's oh, Russia, everyone goes, yes, comrade. So
they're all bears and hats.
Yeah.
With unicycles.
All the women are prostitutes.
Yes, ballerina prostitutes.
The ballerina prostitute assassin.
And the other thing is the one scene where he lets Nika out of the trunk in front of all of the rural Russians who just laugh.
They just laugh. Women. Am I right?
Oh, his wife probably talked back to him, so he put her in front. He's normal.
Yeah. If I had car, I would do same.
Yeah, pretty much.
He let her off easy.
Is it I put wife in back of ox cart all time.
Wife has to scoop up ox poop.
Yeah, so again, this is very much a movie of its time, but because of that, I find it more enjoyable. A lot of like, films like basically post MCU, right? Are just like it's either,
Yeah, and this is right before
it's either art house shit that like it's a toss up whether it's either good or just pretentious drivel, or it's just straight up slop. And this is like at
or
least
it's Godzilla
entertaining
minus
slop.
one.
Yeah. You got the
Saving
rare
cinema.
pearls. You got the rare pearls out there. All right, should we just go right into reviews and
Adaptation and movie ratings?
yeah, go right
let's do it.
right into our scores. Let me write this out here. So we'll do just like straight up movie ratings first. Who wants to throw it out there?
This is a 77 for me.
Okay.
So doing a 7.7.
Interesting.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
That's fine.
7.7 out of 10. And I say that because it's definitely, like, as far as a movie goes, it falls into a C category for me. It's definitely on the upper end. It's enjoyable. It's definitely the type of movie you can put on as background noise and like turn up and like, oh, you just shot the Russian president. That's, really cool.
This is a
boobs.
This is a movie again where it's like you could just drop into it at any time, know what's going on, and enjoy the time that you spend with it, right?
Yeah,
definitely.
So I'm another addition to the FX category, and like what makes an FX movie.
The taxonomy that we're creating.
Yeah. Another one is it's a good morning when you're hungover movie. So little hungover today. Watched it this morning before we recorded.
That feels like
pop in and out,
but I'll allow it.
It doesn't
feel like what?
Saying it feels like correlation because you were hungover and watched it this morning and had a good time. So you're like, it's a perfect hangover movie. We need more evidence of that before we can firmly establish this.
I understand what he's saying because it's similar. It's similar again to the just popping in. It's that like you are literally glued to your couch, can't fucking move. Just like don't like if you move, you might throw up. So in the remote is just out of reach. So it's been on this channel for the past like 3 hours, and this comes on. I'm gonna leave it on. I'm not gonna move, and I'll be okay by the time it's over.
It's like the 2 hours with commercials. You're just chilling there. Then after that 2 hours of trying to become a human, you become a human at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
and everything's okay.
Right,
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Let's hear your score, Mike.
Go. We'll go first. I want to hear your.
So for me, what that speaks to, and I think what the FX taxonomy lends itself to is it's enjoyable without asking really literally anything of you as the viewer. Like that's why it's a good hangover movie. Like to me, that's what kind of makes the movie an FX movie. That
a non-deep thought movie.
Yeah, it just doesn't require much of you one way or the other.
Subconscious frontal cortex thought only.
Yeah. And for me, this one, I'm going to give it a 7.9. I don't feel like it can get to the 8 range, but it's just below that for me.
All right. I'm going to give it an 8 just because I want the whole number today. That round 8. All those curves, just like curves.
You need to
Nikas, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
have to cut that.
Please. It's because I had a client named that, and it was in my head.
I'll at least know it's towards the end, so I'll just look for a spot that glows like a radioactive fucking.
I was also going to go 7. Right, I feel similarly that like it doesn't quite hit the bar of like an 8 or higher, which like my movie and game rating scale have kind of like gotten all fucked up, right? That I feel
It's all
like
fluid. It doesn't matter.
it's like that I feel like with games and stuff that like you know 7 it should be like an average, right? You know 5 does not really denote an average
In
for a
movies,
game
5 should
anymore.
be more close to average.
Yes, where you still have the length of the 10-point range for films, whereas games, you know,
It's
anything lower than
truncated.
basically anything lower than like a 6 or lower you should probably pass on, you know, don't waste your fucking time. Granted, again, we're not getting into like the whole games rating and journalism discussion and like who is telling you that it's
It's an IGN
a 6
8.
or yeah, no,
Well,
no, like
but it's also like the time invested. So like to your
right, it's
point, if it's a
different. It's
6 or
different.
below, yeah, you
It's
could
worth it.
waste 2
With a
hours on a
movie,
shitty
the
movie.
the absolute maximum you're spending with a movie is like 3 to 4 hours.
And
Yeah.
that's you know really on the far end.
Yeah,
And you're only
exactly.
spending, maximum.
$3 maybe.
Well, it could be like maximum.
Well,
Say you spend $20 on a fucking Blu-ray or something like that, or 30 if you
or a
buy
movie
a
ticket or a movie
yeah,
ticket
yeah.
like in the city.
yeah.
You know,
But then
that's
at
like
least like you're getting the experience.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Of
I
going
think
to the movies post-COVID where everyone's on their phone and talking throughout.
I think the time commitment is a big reason behind that. But yeah, I don't think it fully reaches the height of an 8 for me, but it's really close. It's like right on that borderline. But I think like this is an enjoyable hour and 30 minutes to spend. Like again, I've been dog sitting this week. I have to like stay at like my neighbor's house at nights, and you know, not the most comfortable or best setup in the world, but made the later part of the evening enjoyable, right? You know, I just threw that on my laptop and had some popcorn, had some microwavable popcorn, and you know it was enjoyable. I did not feel myself you know reaching for my phone, even though it's a movie I've seen before, right? You know, I have another thing for like FX movie things. It's got infinite replayability, rewatchability. You know, you can
You
who
never
knows
really
how many.
see it fully through.
Right, right. That's the big thing. Is like that you usually it's
Mhm.
like you're catching it at different times. So it's like I've
Yep.
watched the first half this number of times, I've watched the middle this number of times, and
Yeah.
I've probably
You're
only now
piecing it
watched the
together.
full movie maybe twice, but like yeah, there's a replayability factor that runs high in an FX movie. Um so in my mind can't go lower than like a 7.5. Um, that's
No,
like that's kind of like the floor
yeah.
for FX
I
movies.
didn't think that as far
Yeah.
as a movie goes, it could fall below that like pure C rating, but it feels like it belongs in that C plus.
Yeah. All right. In terms of adaptation, a little bit tougher for us because again, we are not really as versed in the games. You know, Andrew and I have played a little bit, and we can see little touches here and there. We'll kind of go in the snake order. I was the last for the movie. I'll be the first for the adaptation. I think this is a pretty good movie adaptation because it takes something that doesn't really have a strong plot in the game and doesn't try to do too much with it, you know, but gives it just enough narrative juice and character relatability to make a movie, right? You know, you
I
need
would
those things in a
argue
movie.
I would argue the success of the movie is almost the fact that you can barely tell it's based on a video game.
Exactly.
But
Like
it's not
I
if
would
you
but it's
if
agree.
you
not
didn't tell me
ashamed.
this was based on a video game, this is just an original fucking movie to
But
me.
it's yeah, but
No,
it's not ashamed of
correct.
its video game roots.
No, but like
But
it's not trying and screaming that I'm a video game movie. Like
and it's not like specifically targeting a video game audience as a video game movie and then trying to broaden it to a larger audience.
no,
It's just
it's a
hitting
spy
the larger
movie based on a
audience.
video game IP that's also a spy game
Yeah.
assassin.
Yeah,
Yep.
so I am gonna bump it up. I'm gonna give it the full 8 rating for an adaptation.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think this is an 8 as an adaptation. It's this is how you want games to be adapted, in my opinion. Like this is the way to do it.
I wouldn't say all games though, but definitely, definitely a spy game like this, because like anything else than what they did would really just kind of be ham-fisted.
The movie adaptation of GoldenEye really just didn't cut it for me. Didn't feel felt too freelance. I agree with the 8. I would give it an 8. I don't think I would go any higher than an 8.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a really easy average too. Don't even type that in a calculator. I dare you.
So did Mike, did you give it an 8?
I said 8. Yeah, I said 8.
Okay.
Just type boobs out in the calculator instead.
Yeah, we give it an 8.0085.
Yeah.
Out of 10.
So it comes though to a 7.875. So you could round it up to basically a 7.9 for
yeah, but if you leave it at
movie.
7.875, that is a beautiful 7 7/8.
Yeah. It's an eighth fraction. I even knew that. But yeah, then the solid, straight 8 across the board for adaptation.
That feels fair. I feel uncontentious and happy about those ratings.
Yeah, we have no contrarian.
Coming from a Redditor. Coming from a Redditor. That's big. Matt, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't partake in Reddit culture in that same way. You can check my Reddit account. I have the last time I commented was 5 years ago.
I'm not saying that you're as bad as some of the Redditors, but you
still
are reforming.
It's that your brain has still been formed via Reddit, right? Whether or not you engage on Reddit, you are still a Redditor.
Yes, but if you engage, you become much more
absolutely.
And we're
absolutely.
And we're not saying you're there.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I'm trying to defend my honor there and be like, I am not that level of.
You know what?
It's about to become a contentious pod.
Yeah, exactly. And then
that's it.
I rolled
2
back
out of
my
10
compliments. You did an on-growth.
Yeah.
It's a 0 out of 10 movie. I fucking hated it, and I'm done with this. No more video game movies. We're only going to be doing Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon. That's the only movie we're talking about now.
I need to go. I actually want to see that. I haven't seen that. But dude,
well worth it. Well worth it. It's good. It's very, very, very good.
But talking about movies though, like I can't
wait for the movie we're going to watch in New York. I feel like I can't say like legally on a podcast.
I'm still so Dune pilled.
Boston, not New York.
What you mentioned something. What movie is it? You mentioned that a while ago. I forget. Say it. You can
the American
Society.
Oh yeah, of magical. Yeah. Are we actually doing that, or is that a joke?
I'm totally down to do that.
I'm down for
it. To do it.
We have nothing else to do at night.
And on a bare minimum, my birthday falls entirely true. I will demand a birthday.
That's not entirely true. There are events. There are events in the evening, and there's at least one I think we may want to go to. There's one giant bomb thing that we may. It's mostly entertainment. It's mostly entertainment. But one of them is I think is one we may want to go to. But
we're going to the cosplay Olympics to watch me powerlift in a Sailor Moon outfit.
Yeah, there is surprisingly this is turning into a little bit of a PAX preview, folks. There's no D&D things like they do. PAX does
there's a tabletop.
There's D&D stuff after.
There's no like sessions being
run. There's sessions that will be run for people, but like not an actual play thing. So PAX,
no critical role running.
PAX is done by is Penny Arcade, the webcomic people. PAX originally stands for Penny Arcade Expo. They created PAX, but so there's the Penny Arcade people did, with partnership with Wizards of the Coast, they did the Acquisitions Incorporated, long-standing series of actual play stuff, and they've got like spin-offs, so they're like secondary, like B-tier casts, and they pretty much used to every PAX across from PAX West, East, Unplugged, all that, they would have like an Acquisitions Incorporated event. When I went pre-COVID, it was like a B squad one. I went to one.
JV.
Yeah, and it was pretty good, pretty funny. You know, they say it's mainly meant to be a comedy one. But yeah, I was surprised to see they didn't have any of those. It's a little weird. And I think you were joking about it, but I think Critical Role has done some appearances.
Oh no, I've
at
absolutely
PAXs
listened to episodes that they've done at live shows.
Well, they do that a lot, but I'm pretty sure they've done one at PAX before. But yeah, no, didn't see any on the schedule. Bit odd. Yeah, so you guys want to go see that movie?
See if
I want to go to there's a soup dumpling place that my sister recommends where we're staying, where our hotel is, that in that town, in that suburb of Boston. There's a place that they go that I will insist upon going to sample.
That's fine. We also have to get pizza in the North End and visit all the Italians.
Go on a pilgrimage for Mike.
Yeah, we also need to go to the Boston Garden so I can spit in front of it and flip off the Larry Bird statue.
Yeah, so
might be able to bring you to a car dealership that the Celtics buy cars from. So
let's take a quick look at the schedule upcoming. So we are off next week while we will be at PAX. You know, it worked out our schedule wise that, you know, we were off next week anyways.
But check out our Instagram, because maybe I'll decide to do some live posts from PAX. Not particularly of us, but just of what's going on.
Yeah,
of me and my Sailor Moon cosplay powerlifting at the Olympics.
Yeah. What would be our normal
up your skirt?
What would be like our normal news episode for the end of the month on the 30th? We're probably going to do either just a full PAX recap for everything we saw and everything that went down, or, you know, we'll do a mix of that in news or something. So be on the lookout for
PS5 Pro speculation.
Yeah. But till then, you can support us by following us on twitch.tv/campaign comrades. Follow us on Twitter at CampCompod.
We almost pulled off recording as long as the movie.
Yeah, we're just a bit shy.
We're like 10 to 15 minutes shy.
Because it's like an hour and 25, like if you don't count credits.
Yeah, if you don't count the credits. That's which
I never count credits for runtime.
But in the MCU, the credits are part of the movie, man. You got to stay through the whole credits.
I hate how the MCU has destroyed my brain, in that, like, even in a movie,
watch the end of
even at a movie like this, where I knew it was beforehand, I knew there was no way that they had a post-credit stinger. I'm still scrolling through the end of the credits on my computer to see, is there a post-credit scene? Man, I hate it. I don't like it. But for you, our dear listeners, we like you very much. We thank you for listening, for enjoying this kind of just all over the place rant about 2007's Hitman, a thoroughly enjoyable video game adaptation. We shall return with our PAX coverage, and then starting off April, we mixed around some things, and it'll be a little bit early, but we're going to be doing Hellblade, taking a look at Hellblade in anticipation for Hellblade 2, the sequel, launching in May, which a bunch of speculation going on now. Is there going to be a PS5 port? Is there? Are they going to do it? Are they lying to you? Who knows?
If I had to take a wild guess, just as we're ending the episode, I bet you they had one before they were bought, and instead of hitting delete like they were told to, they just saved it and put it off to the side.
Yeah,
someone had it on an external hard drive.
I think it's
sitting on a desktop.
No, it's totally one that they'll think about. You know, that, like, they'll see how it performs. They'll let it go on Game Pass for a bit and see how sales are, and then they'll be like, yeah, you know, holiday rolls around, they'll be adding to they've basically said, you know, the 4 games that they announced are just them testing the waters. So
yeah, and Hellblade would be another game along those lines. Yeah, it's another short.
Yeah.
A short game that you want as many people to buy as possible.
Yeah, and it's not going to be one that's like driving console sales. So
yeah, it's not a game they're going to be adding a battle pass to like Minecraft.
Right. All right. But till then, we will see you in a couple weeks. Yeah, and yeah, because we won't be streaming either. Maybe Tuesday, but we won't be streaming because we'll be at PAX. So, unless we stream from the hotel, from hotel Wi-Fi, we'll see. All right. Yeah, we'll see. All right, folks.
Bye.
Bye.